Why you let Ted Wasanasong tell you what to do, what to think? Isn't that why we fled the communists in Laos and the Homeowners Association in Orange County?
So what if King of the Hill does not get as many views as it should? Who cares? Me, but that's irrelevant. Hi, I'm Kitty Monk, and I'm here to talk to you about King of the Hill, or more specifically, Kahn Souphanousinphone. Yes, it's a pun on sousaphone. And yes, Kahn is also an anagram of Hank. The show did take out time to explain it. So, it's Asian History Month. I am obligated to make a video about an Asian character, and I choose Kahn because he is the character bound to create the most controversy. Plus, I already did a video on Diane. Nah, I'm kidding. I just have a couple of opinions I really want to get out there. Pretty much the same reason I make any video. Just, it's gonna be a little shorter than usual. So, let's not waste any time. Let's discuss. Kahn is one of the neighbors in King of the Hill. He and his wife Min come from communist Laos, which is a real country in Southeast Asia, and one of the few to be landlocked.
What ocean?
We are Laotian. It's a landlocked country in Southeast Asia. It's between Vietnam and Thailand, okay? Population 4.7 million.
After a stint in the killing fields, they emigrated to Anaheim, where they had their daughter, Kahn Jr., who is better known as Connie.
I know why. It's because Kahn Jr. not there to bring up average.
You know what? I've always kind of wondered if Kahn Jr. really is Connie's name. I could buy Kahn naming his child after himself, regardless of gender, then the people of Arlen, or more likely Bobby, give her the nickname to distinguish her from her father. But I could also buy Min and Kahn naming their daughter Connie, but insisting that it's Kahn Jr. Besides, they're the only ones who call her that. None of her relatives or even teachers do, outside of the first episode she appears in. Anyhow, Kahn has been controversial the last few years for a variety of reasons. For example, many view him and Min as nothing but awful Asian stereotypes.
I think you a narrow-minded redneck.
Oh, I get it. Just because I'm from Texas, I gotta be some kind of redneck. Chinese and their stupid stereotype.
However, while I don't normally like this argument, you have to take the time period into account. King of the Hill came out in May of 1997, and back then, representation was not the best. Usually, the only role a token character would play would be the model minority, a perfect person who does nothing but preach about their culture and is helpful to their racist frickin' friends. Kahn is meant to subvert this idea by being the complete opposite. Even in his first appearance, the humor came from the fact that Hank and Peggy do mean well, they just have way too much white savior in them. They're not malicious, they're just patronizing.
I've never had beef chop suey before.
Oh, you poor dear. I read somewhere that in certain parts of China, meat is as scarce as toilet paper.
Well, where you read that?
Oh, who can remember?
It's actually kind of ironic that a few episodes later, Hank's own father is able to identify Kahn as Laotian just by looking at him, something Hank himself could not even do.
He's Japanese.
No, he ain't. He's Laotian. Ain't you, Mr. Kahn?
One reason I like Kahn, although not the main reason, is I'm a person of color. Some of you ask, I'm mixed race, mostly Italian and a little bit of Irish on my mother's side, and Cuban and Puerto Rican on my father's side. Whenever I tell people I'm from Newark, I either get dirty looks or uptight comments. Still, I was never a big fan of this kind of favoritism. It's not proper representation, it's just a caricature in the opposite direction. It's condescending and preachy. Two things you do not want to be. Kahn subverts this by actually being a character. Foreign concept, I know. For example, you can't deny that he has a lot of funny one-liners.
Oh yeah, lucky just who you want in your gene pool. Your family going to evolve backwards into fish.
Besides that, he gets a lot of moments to shine, and the times when they bring up his heritage are really unique, especially with what they say. And come on, his jerkiness does not come out of nowhere. I hate to say it, but if I lived next door to Hank and his friends, I'd probably be constantly pissed off too. Let's be honest. They're funny, but sometimes they can really be like Cartman. The kind of characters you like to laugh at, but you would hate with a burning passion if they were real. However, there are several reasons Kahn is a pretty good icon for a representation, at least for me, especially in the later seasons. Granted, one of the few points of criticism I will give is how the show portrays the Laotian language. I think they call it Lao.
Ah! You see? Connie can't even speak Lao. That is messed up, man.
Most, if not all, of the Laotian in the show isn't actual Laotian. It's just a bunch of gibberish.
Bobby, katuwalay.
Cháu at si pick out day. Bobby, head high. Cháu cho kick and coke up look like Paul.
Okay.
It doesn't make me mad, just disappointed. This is a show that has the characters who are not Peggy speak perfect Spanish, and even then, there are times when Peggy's Spanish technically is correct, she just doesn't know how to pronounce or understand to save her life. I guess you could argue it's because Spanish is just easier for them. Mike Judge was born in Ecuador, he speaks fluent Spanish, they obviously did not have to do as much homework. But Lao gets so little representation in the media as is. The only reason I know that country exists, or that Texas has a huge Laotian population, is because of this show. Granted, I guess one way you could justify it is Hank and his neighbors are closed-minded effers. There is the fan theory that the reason Hank encounters all of these crazy straw men is like Courage the Cowardly Dog, we're just seeing the show from his perspective. And as some people say, this could also apply to Hank's understanding of Laotian. Spanish, he lives in Texas. Even if you aren't fluent, you probably know at least a couple of words or understand the context. Hank has never encountered Laotian before he met the Souphanousinphones, so to him, it's just like blah 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 blah. No offense, I don't mean that in a bad way, I'm just saying. Anyhow, there are times when Kahn struggles with the idea of being an immigrant. In deconstructing Henry, Kahn wants to rub in Hank's face that he has a super fancy government job and Hank doesn't, only because he works for the government and has a strict confidentiality notice, he loses his job.
Kahn, we're terminating your contract.
It's a business call, I swear. I paid for it, just bill me.
Kahn tries to get another, yet his pride keeps getting in the way, and he keeps getting hired and fired.
How does this machine work, Mr. Kahn? How do I print? How do I save? A Control S, you morons! It's always Control S!
You know, when I used to work in customer service, I quickly learned that people are idiots, or at least they are at your job. When you go to their job, the roles reverse. Out of stubborn pride, Kahn refuses to come home until he finds a job, yet he mostly ends up sleeping in a public bathroom. Hank tracks Kahn down, and Kahn explains why he can't go home, despite his family clearly wanting him back.
It's not supposed to happen to me. I'm Asian, for God's sake. More expected of me. You not understand. You somebody's worker bee.
Okay, this is super important. As South Park showed us, sometimes you'll never truly understand what a minority or marginalized group goes through. However, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to stop the hatred or racism when it happens. The best thing you can do for yourself is education. That's why throughout the episode, Kahn was so prideful, especially when Min tried to hold a garage sale.
Ah, nah. Now nobody buy it. Happy? Everyone get off my lawn!
In the meantime, Hank has to take care of Min, doing the chores Kahn's supposed to do, or buying them dinner. Bobby even gets Lao lessons from Min.
Pretty soon we'll have a secret language we can speak in school. No, Connie. I teach him Southern dialect. He not the same class.
Fine, this is probably the one episode I don't totally mind the whole gibberish thing. I could totally buy Min scamming the hills. With Hank's encouragement, Kahn gets another job in Houston.
Oh no,
I'm not moving again.
It's 3-hour drive.
Not negotiable. You commute.
You know, last semester I had a professor who commuted to our college from Maryland. We're in Newark, so like next to Manhattan. People who have to commute for like 2 or 3 hours, how do you do it? I'm always super curious. Another reason Kahn is controversial is his voice actor, Toby Huss, who also voices Todd in Beavis and Butthead and Cotton Hill. Toby Huss is Caucasian, and Kahn is Asian. Oh boy. In the last few years, there have been conversations about the topic of voice actors voicing people of color. Some think it's segregation, some believe it's giving voice actors new opportunities. As a person of color, what do I think? Well, I do think these aren't mutually exclusive. You should make more characters, as it would help with the rep and give people characters to relate to on screen. But at the same time, if the character is specifically about that, like say Encanto, then yeah, they should match the voice actor. If only because respect and you don't want it to be super awkward. I'm not saying you should get rid of Mr. Nezer because he was voiced by a white man imitating Oogie Boogie. Yeah, that's a real story, look it up. But I do like when shows try to justify the voice actors. Like when Big Mouth switched voice actors for Missy and they had her spend the season learning more about Black culture and embracing her roots, literally and figuratively. It was pretty well done.
Whoa, mosaic, Missy. Is it conceited to say that you're beautiful? Not if it's true.
With King of the Hill, I do think they have justified Kahn being voiced by a white man, the same way BoJack Horseman arguably justified Diane being voiced by Alison Brie.
You put on the clothing you bought and it feels like a costume. This is not your home. You're a tourist here.
This one quote right here is way more relatable than you think. Sorry, getting off track. The King of the Hill succeeded with the episode Orange You Said I Did Say Banana, which touched on the idea of acting too white. Kahn is invited by his personal idol and local rich dude, Ted Wassanasong, sorry, that's just how Kahn says it, to a party at his house, where he admires Ted's pool. Ted also takes the chance to introduce Kahn and Min to a famous Laotian freedom fighter, Nguk Fong.
How about that, man? This guy's serious butt kicker. I'm sorry they kill all your friends.
Yes, that was unhappy for me.
Which is weird he would do this. I mean, Min's father's a general for the communist regime. He was so infamous that he was tried at The Hague. Wait, is that why Min and Kahn are not liked in the Laotian community?
Yeah, well, that sounds good. Now, about the pool. What you think a smaller version of it in my backyard cost?
Keep Kahn's behavior in mind going forward. Kahn wants a pool like that for himself, only to find it's way too expensive. And probably also illegal. I mean, don't you need a permit for that? He compromises by allowing Hank and Co. to build the pool, in exchange for getting to use it whenever they want.
Oh my god, we're gonna build a pool!
Really?
Oh my god!
Which is actually kind of nice for later season Kahn. Yes, he's lording over them, but if this were any earlier, he'd probably let them work and afterwards not let them use it because they're dumb rednecks or something like that. Kahn believes his life is now complete, except for not having a membership in Nine Rivers Country Club, the same club Ted Wassanasong goes to.
Well, Ted Wassanasong is on membership committee.
Of course! And he like us now. Oh, this coming together very nicely.
Kahn, part of me thinks you won't feel complete until you tear off Ted's face and wear it as your own, because then you really would be Ted. As Ted is on the membership committee, Kahn decides to do what he does on an average Tuesday and kiss up to him. Too bad Ted's busy.
You do know that it's Baka Pusa today, don't you?
It is one of our most sacred holidays.
Apparently, this is also a real holiday. Don't you know? And wait a second, isn't that the cabbage guy? Kahn tries to get in good by inviting Ted and Nguk to a Makabusa party at his house, only to find Ted was thinking a super formal dinner party, not a barbecue. Angered, Ted and Nguk try to tell Kahn that he's become too disconnected from his roots. He is now one of the worst things ever a banana, aka somebody who's Asian but acts like they're white.
Nuguk and I feel that you've become grievously disconnected from your heritage. It's as though you've completely forgotten that you're Lao.
This is actually one of my favorite episodes just because of how relatable it is. Either you act the way you want to, and you're feeding into stereotypes, which is offensive, or you don't, and you're turning your back on your kind. It's like you're always disappointing somebody by just doing anything. Sorry if I talk with my hands and eat pizza. Sorry if I'm feisty. Sorry if things are getting too spicy for the pepper. It gets the job done. Ted encourages Kahn to get in touch with his Asian roots. Only rather than just support the Lao community, Kahn thinks he has to give up all of his American luxuries. Have a little mini TV instead of a big flat screen. He can't sit on chairs. For dinner, he has to eat rice and meat.
You know damn well it's rice and meat.
Oh, of course. I get so used to American diet of extreme variety.
Actually, rice and meat sounds pretty good. At one point, to stop the temptation, he turns the pool that the boys built into a reflecting pool for meditation.
We had a deal.
Oh, you had deal with old Kahn, the homogenized, Americanized Kahn. That Kahn no longer exists, and neither does Pool.
Granted, I'm sure you're wondering, why is Ted taking a special interest in Kahn this time around? So he can use Kahn as part of a militia and send him on a mission to Laos to take down the communist regime. Do I have to spell it out for you?
Some of us may get taken prisoner, and then most likely they torture us or re-educate us, and then put us in their army.
Seriously, why did you not ask Min? She has her father on the inside. Kahn realizes that not only is this certainly a death mission, but Ted is simply doing it for the social clout.
I talked Councilman Ebert into making the first Tuesday in May Lao Freedom Day. We are parading from the nail salon to the boba tea shop.
In the end, Kahn decides to live life the way he wants, regardless of the label of banana. Come on, bananas have potassium.
It's like this. If you want someone to play a round of golf, give me a call. If you want someone to feel guilty about the way they choose to live, call someone else.
However, if that label applies to anybody, it's Ted Wassanasong, who actually is voiced by Mike Judge. Arguably, Ted assimilated even more than Kahn and Min. And yet, just because he has a little carving in his pocket and he's friends with Nuguk, he thinks he's safe.
I own all these things, but they don't own me.
So I just keep one of those in my pocket and I can have a big screen TV.
Unfortunately, you're not ready yet.
He is not. In fact, this might sound weird, but I'd kind of argue that Ted might not even be his real name. One, he's that fake, and two, apparently it's a big thing for some Asians to go by aliases, especially in the business world, if only to make things easier. Kahn Souphanousinphone might become, say, Kevin Yang, for example. Imagine if the revival revealed that Ted's not his real name, and his upbringing was even worse than Kahn. Yet, in order to get ahead, because it's good for business, Ted and his wife Cindy adopted more American-sounding names. And to help their son get forward for the same reason, they gave him a stereotypical-sounding Asian name. I mean, it might have worked considering the redneck on Rainy Street. Kahn is trying to celebrate Connie getting into Rice University's summer program, only to learn she got rejected, despite being the smartest kid in school. He goes to Rice and finds out why Connie was rejected.
Connie's a really smart Asian girl, but I've got a boatload of them, pardon the expression.
Connie didn't get in because she's an overachieving Asian? Oh, that's discrimination!
In a way, it's flattering.
Honestly, this is another reason why I don't mind Kahn. Similar to The Simpsons, King of the Hill is all about stereotypes. Unlike The Simpsons, they usually play around with these stereotypes, I guess you could say. Kahn always emphasizes to Connie that she has to study hard, volunteer all she can, and work her butt off to get into college and have a good life. You probably should be telling your kid, but not to the extent he does. The thing is, these are all Asian stereotypes. And even if Kahn himself overcame so much to give his daughter a better life, as far as he knows, it means nothing because there's hundreds of other kids with situations like hers. Kahn finds out the only way Connie can get into Rice would either be to donate a bunch of money to the school or make her seem as destitute as possible.
Has Connie ever had to play that violin of hers on the street? You know, to buy her strung-out mother just one more hit?
No.
Well, that could have helped.
You might laugh, but you don't understand how much this was emphasized to me when I started applying for colleges. It didn't matter about my grades or extracurriculars. I was just told by literally everybody around me, show them how much you overcame. Kahn, thinking his life means little, decides to simply give up and embrace the redneck lifestyle he always reviled. Only the stereotypical redneck lifestyle. So like this.
I'm gonna hang out in the alley and spend my welfare checks on beer like you guys. Be my own man.
What's interesting is how Connie is the only family member who doesn't go along with it. She keeps studying all she can and keeping her spirits high. In fact, she didn't care she got rejected from Rice, even if she was essentially discriminated against.
It's all right, Dad. This summer I'll just study for fun.
Besides, unless you apply to a graduate school, you obviously don't apply to one school. In the end, Hank has to talk some sense into Kahn, and Kahn realizes this newfound lifestyle, that's the answer.
Yeah, that's right. Connie like a beautiful lotus growing out of the muck. That's her hook!
I mean, you could also bring up how you and Min emigrated from Laos, and your dream was to give your child a better life, but whatever it takes. At least she got into Stanford. Wait, but I thought Connie wanted to go to Harvard.